What's up, Butch Boy? A guy named Tyler, putting live from the MITM podcast. And today, you know what? I realized that so many of us are just absolutely dirty. Okay, you are filthy. You wanna know how I know? Well, when's the last time you washed your brain? Run the intro.
Caught up in them bright lights, lusting for shiny things that's golden. Everything ain't always what it seems, let it soak in. Chasing my dreams, coming apart at my seams. Best believe that the money is the motive.
All right. Welcome back to the MITM podcast. And yeah, when's the last time that you washed your brain? And it's such a weird thing to say, but I say things sometimes that makes people uncomfortable, and I do it on purpose. You know, I do it on purpose because I want people to really think about what's happening in their lives and think about what they're doing. So, for example, I was having a conversation with one of my coworkers, and I was talking about how I wanted to raise my children and how important I thought it was that I brainwash them. Okay. And this person was so uncomfortable. They were actually angry with me for saying I was going to brainwash my kids. And I'm like, what's wrong with brainwashing? That's what's happening all day, every day anyways. They call it television programming, radio programming, educational programming. It's all brainwashing. Okay? We call it child rearing. We call it child rearing. We call it all these. We might call it indoctrination. We say indoctrination. Ooh, that's so bad. But all that it is, if you really think about how the human mind is, we're like a robot, guys. We're an organic robot. And what you put into the robot dictates what you get out of the robot. And we have a choice on what we put into this robot. So why should I live in a way that is based on what everyone else thinks it should be, or how everyone else thinks it should be? Like, I don't know if y'all's watched the movie The Matrix. It's amazing. But more times than not, I feel like Neo, simply because I was homeschooled. My mind wasn't molded like everyone else's that was brought up in the system. I look at things differently. I'm used to living on the offbeat. So I'm here talking about brainwashing my kids and how important I think it is that you intentionally brainwash. You ethically brainwash. Y'all may see that I have these reprogramming and auto-suggestion audios as a part of this podcast because nightly I listen to this shit and I'm brainwashing myself. I'm plugging into my subconscious mind. I'm doing all of this because I want to make sure that my mind is doing exactly what I want it to do. I want to have certain messages. I want to have that voice, my voice in my head telling me that I can do it. So when I feel down, it's not someone else's programming. It's not that teacher in grade 3 that said you never amount to nothing. It's not that one coach from your football team saying, oh, if you want to go down that path in your life, or you choose to do this and that, you're going to wind up on the street. You're going to be nothing. All these different people. It's not going to be that person that says, hey, because you like to take care of yourself, you're a selfish being. Every single thing that people say to you is programming. And sometimes it sticks in your mind when it shouldn't. You know? Sometimes it gets in there and it holds on tight for the ride and it's not trying to go nowhere. It's in there. And we have to reprogram ourselves. We have to download new software. This is why self-help books exist. Well, books are a slow way to reprogram the brain. It's faster than having to go through everything yourself. You just learn from the experience of another person. Okay? But there's absolutely nothing wrong with brainwashing. So I just wanted to ask you guys real quick, when's the last time you washed your brain? When you sit down or you go to do something, whose voice is talking to you? Who is actually saying that thing to you? You know, here's a really interesting story. There's a meditation retreat called Vipassana or Vipassana. Okay. And it's a meditation retreat that I went to many years ago. I went twice. It's a 10-day silent retreat. And on the first day that I got there, I was really excited. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to stop talking now before I'm not supposed to be talking. I'm going to stop talking from this evening. Watch, I'm going to unpack my bags and I'm going to be silent. And then I had a fight earlier, not like a big fight, but just a disagreement earlier in the day. And this disagreement was playing in my mind. I can vividly remember I'm taking my pants out of my bag, my shirt's out of my bag. I'm unpacking, I'm putting things away so I could be cozy and comfy for the next however many days. And as I'm doing this argument just keeps on playing in my head. And then I spoke. As I'm unpacking, spoke. And the craziest thing about when I decided to speak was that it wasn't even my part of the conversation. Could you imagine that? You're by yourself in a room having a conversation, reliving of a moment that you had with someone else, a negative experience that you had with someone else. And when words come out of your mouth, they're not even your own words. It was at that moment I'm like, whoa, I am crazy. I'm crazy. What the fuck? I'm mad. I've lost my mind. And that happens every single day and we don't realize it. Maybe you want to go eat a food and you hear your mom's voice saying, oh, don't touch that, you're going to get fat. Maybe you want to go and aim for a new goal for yourself or make a career shift and you hear your dad saying, oh, you're not smart enough to do this, or you can't do it. Whatever the reasoning is, whoever that person is, all of their voices throughout your whole life have conditioned you, for better or worse. They have added to the being that you currently are, but they could also be limiting the being that you could be. So how often do we actually go to reprogram the mind, to take out that which is not serving us and plug in the things that we would like to start serving us? You know? How many people are living day to day other people's programming and not what they want for themselves? This is why so many self-help folks, this is why so many of these coaches tell us to write down in your journal, set your intention for the day, get off social media. Stop watching all that TV. Pick your books wisely. Choose what goes in to your mind. Have you heard of garbage in, garbage out? We also have good in, good out. The subconscious mind does so many things for you because there's too many things to think about anyways. And you end up operating from a subconscious mind level. 90% of who you are is your subconscious. And if it's full of crap, if it's being mucked about, if it's full of garbage, then how are you going to be successful? How are you going to live your dream life? How do you become an MITM? Well, I mean, you're listening to this podcast, so your mindset is in the making. But setting the intention, hey man, this is just one facet, one aspect. Setting the intention, setting the awareness, and doing things actively to build the mind, build the person that you want to be, because no one else is going to do it for you. It's literally one day at a time to create the being that you want to be. If you can hold it in your hand, you could hold it in your hand. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. I love those quotes, and you guys will hear me say those often. But we want to reprogram. We want to brainwash. Wash your brain. And you know what? For all of you guys that are uncomfortable with me saying, I'm trying to brainwash you with this podcast, and I'm trying to brainwash myself with this podcast, let's just put ethical in front of it. Just like ethical hackers. Yeah, we love those ethical hackers. They keep our websites safe from the bad hackers. Ethical brainwashing. Anyways, that is pretty much it from me this morning. If you guys want a tool to be able to ethically brainwash yourself, definitely check out The Total Upgrade. It's a book that I wrote a little while ago. It's just 9 super simple, wonderful tips to help you with your mind, body, and soul to upgrade your life. You know, sometimes we need a little bit of help and a little bit of guidance. There's some other resources that I would love to share. I have a whole YouTube playlist on reprogramming that I'm gonna drop the link in the bio for y'all. Y'all let me know what you think about that. But with that being said, that's it for today's podcast. Peace.
Give 'em that creme de la creme whenever I spit that hot shit.